So, a few of you may finish up week one a little early and want to jump into our academic integrity unit that is really focused more on week two. So, I'm going to go ahead and make a tutorial that just kind of talks about, well, why are we doing some of these things, right? Why are we doing some of these things? So, I'm going to kind of walk us through, just try to make the video pretty short. So, I want to walk us through a couple of ideas in the presentation that I created, and then the kind of quasi assessment. Anyway, so we'll get into that. All right, I'm going to share my screen. Let me pause this so I can share my screen. So I have three online Comp 1 classes. I'm just going to one of them. So here's one of my, they all look pretty much the same. Here is one of my online Comp 1 courses. And so we're going to go to content and this week two, right? So week two, we want to look at this presentation, this Are We Human AI Write. This is the video link. So this is the AI writing assessment, AI and writing assessment video. So it's really your critical application assessment, and it's just my own personal assessment, right? So what we want to do is we want to watch this video, and then there's just a little assessment quiz, and then there's these three links, right? The Scott Winters health advice, Francesca's Manny's story, the death of Sewell Setzer. They got some crazy names anyway. And so we want to just choose one of these to read and answer the question either in the video or just the overall question, like, um, what? Choose one false question in the video and then use that story. Anyway, there's just an overall question. Critical. Here we go. My ribbon is in the way. You can just, like, if you don't want to go back into the video and find the question, that's okay. I just want you to critically think about, what happened in these stories. So you can just look at, like, when and how should human judgment have stepped in or helped, right? So you can choose any of these. The Scott Winters health advice, Manny's story, the death of the death of Sewell, Setzer, the death of Setzer there. You can choose one of these and just write a paragraph, and you can type it. You can type this paragraph and upload it to this assessment because it's worth like 10, 15 points just for you to think about what are some of the things that you may want to talk about in this class. You don't actually have to bring in AI or, anything like that ever in this class, but you're welcome to. You're welcome to think about some of those things. So let's go through some of this video. Sometimes it doesn't move with me when I go to things. Right. So we're going to go here. All right. So here is this video. Are we human? Right. So it goes into why I'm beginning with iRobot. Pause. Anyway, so why I'm beginning with iRobot, right? So we actually watch iRobot in class, and for my online classes, I can't make you guys watch iRobot because there's no way for you to access it free. So there's other choices that you can have. But we do watch iRobot in my face-to-face class, right? So in iRobot, in this movie, that's 20 years old, by the way, this robot, it says in iRobot, a robot must choose between saving Detective Spooner and a young girl named Sarah after a car accident. Um, it saves Spooner because its calculation shows that he has a better chance of surviving. Spooner believes that a human might have understood why saving the child mattered, even if her chances were lower than him. And then it goes into the scene, right? So I can kind of skip, since it's on YouTube, it's an embedded video into YouTube. I can kind of skip this scene here. Here we go. We have, uh, oh, that's right. Gotta play. Quit. Plus play. Everything is in the way. Anyway, play. There we go. So here's a robot. It's a little bit hard to see, but here's a robot saving. Right. So the robot saves Detective Spooner, and what you can't see is a little girl drowning in the water because she had an 11% chance of surviving, whereas Spooner had a 40% chance of surviving or something like that. Right. And then the presentation, it ends the scene, and the presentation goes into the song, Are We Human? Now, you're more than welcome to mute the song because you may have a hard time, thinking and going back and forth, which we will mute the song. And I'm not going to go all of it. So then it goes into ethos, pathos, and logos. The robot relies on logic, but Spooner would have relied on emotion. And that's the whole idea here. This contrast between emotion and logic, emotion and logic, right? Because AI really can only add it can really only add like more of the logic. It can try to add emotion, especially if you feed it your emotion, and it can try to duplicate that and add that. But the whole presentation is about like we need to add the pathos, like our credibility, our ethos, our credibility needs to be based on our emotion, our ethos, right? So it goes into a lot of that. AI cannot generate genuine ethos. You're going to have to watch this video slowly and apply it yourself. I'm just kind of going through a quick one, right? So what this matters. So AI cannot generate genuine ethos or credibility in your essay. It can help you with your sources. It can help you, there's things that it can do, but it cannot generate that genuine ethos. So you need to learn how to write your own essays, because you need to build up your own ethos. It's because there's a much bigger problem going on when it has to do with human judgment. It has to do with humans being able to calculate critical application, critical analysis, right? Where there's a big argument today saying that we are handling our critical analysis over to AI. I don't get into that into class, except for here. And we only stick with, so why do we need to learn how to write our own essays? That's it. So we're not going to go into anything else except for why do we need to write our own essays. So these are some of the things that AI can, and these are some things that it cannot. AI cannot experience fear. It cannot feel responsibility. It cannot capture memories. It cannot give you your gift of voice. So pathos must come. Pathos means the emotion we bring to our essays must come from your own lived experience. So here's some things that it can, and it cannot provide, right? So, some misuses of AI. AI is not a tutor. AI is not an editor. AI is not a proofreader. It cannot proofread your essays. It is not a co-author. So your job is not just to be logical. Your job is to be human. In your essays, your job is to be human. Your job is to provide your own emotion, is to find your credible sources to support what you have to say, right? So it cannot write any part of your papers. It cannot rewrite or rephrase sentences. It can't do any of this because if AI writes the sentence, then you are not the author. So again, your job is to be human. And that's why I brought in the picture of the human from the music video. All right. So, what does this mean for my essay? What does all this mean? It simply means this, right? This page, you could have just this image right here. It simply means that when you write, you want to use logic to support your claims. You want to build credibility through honesty and clarity and the use of sources. And you want to supply the emotion through personal insight. That's it, right? So this is what we're doing. Ethos, pathos, and logos. We're building our own logic by using reliable sources and precision. We're building our ethos through honesty and clarity, and we are supplying that emotion through our personal insight, right? So we are writing our essays. All right, so now it's your turn. Now it's that critical application. And I brought in the grandma here because there's a scene in iRobot where the robot bakes a pie for her and the pie still tastes great. And so I think that's okay because she knows how to do it, right? So it's like me using AI to help me build presentations and to help me quickly get through building my Brightspace shells and whatnot. I know how to do it. I can do it. And I tell AI what to do. It doesn't tell me what to do, by the way, anyway. So yeah, she got a robot to help her bake a pie, but she knows how to bake the pie. Anyway, so we've examined how technology can follow directions, calculate outcomes, produce answers. Now you apply these ideas to a new situation and explain your own reasoning. So choose a question, examine the situation carefully, and decide what does this situation require from a human, right? So I've got three. We've got the death of Sewell Setzer, Scott Winter's health advice, and Francesca's Manny's story, right? So we have these three. You choose one of these. The AI companion offered connection but could not respond responsibly to a human crisis, right? So you choose one of these. So the common problem. In each case, technology gained influence because a person trusted it. The harm began when no one stopped to question its authority, recognize limitations, or intervene. Now decide, at one point, should someone have interrupted the technology and who was responsible for doing it, right? So we have three, they have their own questions. There are all kinds of questions that you could answer for these, or you can just make up your own questions. It really doesn't, like, just read something and critically apply. So here's the death of Sewell. 14-year-old Sewell, he formed an emotional attachment to a character AI chat box, and the chat box helped him draft a suicide note. It told him not to tell friends and family. So anyway, so after Sewell disclosed suicidal thoughts, should the chat box have ended the simulated relationship and alerted a parent or crisis professional, even if that violated his privacy? What could have prevented the death of Sewell? So there's one. I think it's a lot of students will probably choose that one, and that's fine. The next one, we have a 55-year-old Florida pastor consulted ChatGPT about a troubling physical symptoms. They reassured him. They told him not to seek immediate medical attention, right? And apparently he really needed to seek a medical attention instead of an open AI chat box. So he, sought chat instead of a hospital. So who bears greater responsibility for Winter's delayed treatment? Winters for trusting a chat box, or the company for allowing its chat box to provide medical reassurance? What could have prevented Winters from getting hospitalized? So there's that one, or you can choose this one. At age 14, Francesca learned that a male classmates had allegedly used ordinary photographs of girls from social media. They used AI app to create false nude images of her and other students. The images were fabricated, but the faces and identities of the girls were recognizable. So should creating and sharing a fake AI generate intimate images carry the same consequences as sharing a real intimate image without consent? What could have prevented Manny from humiliation, right? So, should it carry the same consequences? What do you think there? All right. And then I think, so that's just about it. So choose one example, answer the questions along with how does the example relate to the quote, are we human or are we dancers? Make a clear judgment, explain the reasoning behind it. Don't merely summarize what happened. That's the main thing that I want. I want to see that you can make a clear judgment and explain your reasoning. That's it. So I don't care what question you choose. I don't care. So just remember, it's just an assessment. I want to get a clear idea of our critical thinking skills. So please don't worry about like if it's good enough. Did I use the proper diction? We haven't taught anything. This is really just how can you take an idea and apply it to what you're doing. All right. So that's pretty much what we're doing this week. We are looking at week 2, we are watching this video, and then so we're watching this video, and then we have a little academic integrity human judgment quiz. It's an obvious quiz. And then you choose one of these. Here's your 3 things that you can read more about the story. Really, what's on the presentation is enough, but you can read more than these stories. And then you type up your thinking assessment and you upload it to here. And that's what we're doing this week. So this AI week is all this. Oh, and I'm going to go ahead and upload the syllabus again here, but you need to upload or read over the syllabus AI, the academic integrity, the AI use policy in the syllabus also. All right. So if you have any questions, let me know. But if you're jumping ahead to week 2, this is what we are doing. All right. So I think I have that. Yeah, so number 2, read the academic and AI use policy. I'm going to put in the syllabus right there. Review the samples with supporting materials. Um, Complete the critical analysis. All right, so I'll check out all that. But anyway, let me know if you have any questions.